All right, guys, we are back with another episode. This is On Screen, Off Screen. We've got Josh a million and Lauren a gazillion because she's the most valuable person on this podcast.
Yep.
Grateful for her. She's incredible. And with that, I actually want to start with Lauren's topic because this is not the name of a topic I thought I would ever see.
Okay, so many people who are on my side of TikTok have been seeing a lot of edits to Enya's Caribbean Blue with Dracula, a love tale. And I, like, quite literally, my feed has just been Helldivers 2 and Dracula, a love tale. And these edits, like, I don't know, it like made me think of like what every vampire thing people it made me feel like what people want vampire romance to be and like idolize of, but finally done right. In my mind. So in
So you're saying this is a good Twilight?
this is a good shut up. Your mouth.
That's what you just said, or at least what I just heard.
No, like the typical like ancient vampire thing. Um because in this story it starts off with Vlad and his wife, and they have like this montage of like their love story. And then the Pope like sends him out uh to war, and he's like, in the name of God, like, you're gonna go fight these wars. And so he's like, okay, but like you need to promise me to, like, he's like, can you tell the Lord to protect my wife? He's like, I'll do anything the Lord asks of me as long as he protects my wife. And he's like, the Pope's like, yeah, I'll tell him. So Vlad goes out and conquers, and then he gets like a message that like his wife had to flee the castle and is like being chased. So he goes and finds um like, it was very interesting because it was kind of like a medieval minefield because there's a whole bunch of these bear tracks in this field, and she's like running with her horse, and her horse gets caught in one, and then she starts running and she gets caught in one, and you have this, like, the people coming to kill her, and then you have Dracula trying to make his way to her, and he gets there just as like she gets killed. And so he like swears off Christianity and God and everything, and that's what um, makes him cursed to be a vampire. And so then he's like, he kills the holy man that told him, that said who'd relayed the message. And he's like, well, he's like, tell him that I'm gonna wait. He's like, pure souls will be reincarnated. So he's like, I'm gonna wait for her, and I'm not gonna like do his bidding anymore. And so he just waits for this, the reincarnation of his wife over all of these years. And so he's like traveling everywhere to try to find her. And then he realizes, he's like, I can't like visit all the courts by myself to try to find her. So he makes other vampires to try to find her. And then it comes to the day where one of the vampires finds her, and he, like, the guy who comes to his castle to be like, hey, like, I'm traveling, and like they told me that like you're a count, and like I want to like ask about your life and stuff. He finds out that he's engaged to somebody who looks just like his wife, and so he's like, okay, I'm not gonna kill you since you basically found my wife for me. And so he goes, kills. I This was a weird scene. He like kills this whole nunnery so that he could be beautiful again because he wasn't really eating, so he looked old. So he goes to this nunnery, eats, looks beautiful, and then goes to like woo this woman who looks like his wife. And she was reincarnated, and she like keeps getting these flashes of her old life and is like confused about it. And so he like starts like trying to court her and like get her to remember. Um, and then like in the end, he gets her to remember, takes her back to the castle, and then this one priest who's been trying to track down Dracula for forever finds him in the castle, and Dracula's murdering everybody to try to save him and his wife's like they're finally together again. And the priest was like, he says to the priest, he's like, "You're here to kill me or whatever," and he's like, "No, I'm here to save you." And he's like, "No, she's my salvation," and he's like, "You're her damnation." And the guy, like Dracula, like thought about it for a second, and he's like, "Actually, kind of, yeah, because he bit her to like be his bride for in eternity, but then he realized he hated eternity, and so he's like, okay, yep, you're right. I guess I have to like die so that she can continue to live." And so he like lets himself, he goes and like says goodbye, and then like lets himself be killed. And I was like, I knew it was coming because I saw the edits. But the way that this actor like portrayed the heartbreak of like losing his wife over these centuries, and like how it still hurt throughout this whole time. Like there's this one part where he ends up like breaking into her, like he like cries on her grave, and then he was like just wanted to be with her, and like crawls into the coffin to realize that she's just dust, and he's like, "I can't even be with you like in any form," and like freaks out. But yeah, it's a very, I feel very gothic coded. I mean, it's Dracula, very gothic coded. um, but I like how he portrayed the like actual longing for her, and I like how in this it wasn't just him like hypnotizing a woman to be his bride. It was his bride that, and like he was very gentlemanly about it when he was like trying to court her. And there's this one part where like she kind of unbeknownst calls him to her room, and he like appears, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I'll leave." And so he like goes to the door, and she's like, "No, no, not that way, like the other way." And so, "Where you came in from?" He's like, "Oh, sorry." So he goes to the window to like go jump, and she doesn't know that like he has supernatural powers to like jump out. And so she's like, "No, don't kill yourself." He's like, "Oh, so you'd like me to kill myself elsewhere?" And she's like, "Yes, no, yes." It was like really funny. Um, but like the whole time he's like doing everything she says, but she's like so confused with what she wants until she finally remembers who he is. Um, and this was the movie that I had to go to the high seas for because I actually watched all of the edits on TikTok to make the full movie.
Is now a bad time to tell you it's on Plex?
No. I'll go watch it on Plex now. I was dedicated.
It sounds like it.
But I was so mad that there was actually no Enya in that movie. No Enya. I don't know who
It's tragic.
decided.
Every movie should have it.
It's true. Lord of the Rings
Should
has
have
it.
Enya?
Enya, yeah. I love
Every
Enya.
movie should have Enya?
And it's really funny because to tag Enya in this, it's so funny. I had this coworker that since watching all these edits, I put a whole bunch of Enya on my playlist for the week. And we went hiking where there was like no service, and she didn't tell anyone where she was going. So we're like up in these hot springs, just like floating, listening to Enya, and then we come back down off the mountain, and both her and I had like messages from people being like, "Are you okay? Like, where are you?" and stuff like that. And like her mom was actually driving to her last known location on her phone.
That's wild.
And I'm like, I feel so bad for everybody because just like imagining like all this chaos happening, and then we're just like floating in these beautiful, picturesque hot springs with like the leaves changing color. But yeah, anyway, so I think Colin, because you love like vampire movies, right?
I do.
What about like the vampire movies do you like?
I
Twilight.
like.
It's his favorite.
Oh, yeah. Best one. I like
He
the
also
horror.
likes 50 First Dates, and this is like a merging of the two.
Kind of.
Maybe I need to watch this movie. I like the horror aspect. I like the monster aspect. I love the gothic, like dark nature of vampires. I think it's very interesting that every culture basically has a version of a vampire, and you can take different cultures' versions to make the monster more interesting, and you can apply it different ways. So it's a very versatile monster. I like weirdly I like the seduction aspect of it, like this, but not the Twilighty aspect, like the darker seduction aspect of it. Very like suave, creature of the night, powerful, evil aspect is just really compelling to me. When it's done right, it's just very, 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 very seldomly done right.
Then I would hesitate to tell you to watch this one because it doesn't really um, focus on the monster aspect. It focuses more on like the love story of these two. And he does have like this perfume that he would use to like lure women in so that he could be like, "Are you her? Are you? Nope, nope, no." And he was like trying to just bring the women to him so that he could be like, "Are you my wife? Nope. Are you my wife? Nope."
Nope.
And so that's why he like there's literally him doing that for years and him getting so tired of not finding her that he like goes crazy at this one ball where he just like bites all of the women there and he's like, "Go find my wife."
I would try it. Like I will try anything but the follow-ups to Twilight. I did watch Twilight. I watched. Is the second one New Dawn?
I almost said no, it's Breaking Bad.
It's Breaking Bad. The follow-up to Twilight is Breaking Bad.
I think there's Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Eclipse, and I can't remember what the other one is, but
I watched the first two because I will try every vampire movie, but those are atrocious. And then I watched like a summary video of the later movies, and I cannot believe anyone likes these or like the books or anything. It's crazy to me. But I will try anything.
well, I'd say try Dracula. I don't a Dracula love tale. But yeah, it was. I was like, because I wasn't very interested in Nosferatu, and somebody said this was basically Nosferatu, but because like it
Just
not.
Does it
Yeah.
have, does it have Interview with a Vampire vibes like at all?
I haven't seen that, so I can't
Okay.
say.
Okay. I like that movie. I don't think it's the best, but I do actually like it. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'll try it. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I actually, because like I can't get this movie out of my head for like some scenes. I'll put it as a 9 just because I really hated the nun scene. I don't know. Like,
Okay.
I didn't like him eating the whole nunnery.
That sounds like my favorite part. And it's got Chris Waltz in it, and I literally will try anything with Christopher Waltz. I think he's
Oh
great.
yeah, Christopher Waltz was in it. He
I
does really good. I like him.
love Christopher Waltz. Like,
Yeah,
genuinely
yeah.
love him.
He's the priest. He does very well.
Cool.
He does very well with like being disconcerting.
Yeah, he's just
He does it
great.
very well though. Yeah.
I like him in bad movies. I just like Christopher Waltz.
So yeah, I
Christoph
give it
Waltz.
a
Christoph
9.
Waltz. Cool. All right, Josh, let's go for your first topic. What is Average Joe?
Okay, so this is one that weirdly Lauren and I have something in common about.
Okay.
Even though I'm sure she's never heard of this movie. One of our previous shared topics was Woman in Gold, and she has a memory of her past of hearing about this but not getting the full story. That is this movie for me. Average Joe follows the life of the guy who lost his job for praying in the middle of a football field. It happened back in 2015. It was while I was in high school, and I heard about it. I have never been a news watcher, so I never got it directly from the source. But when it happened and when it kind of became really popular and big and blew up, there was a lot of talk around my school about religious freedom and what does that really mean, and is it right that he lost his job because he was praying at a public school event, or is it wrong that he lost his job because whatever? The general consensus was it was right that he lost his job and religion doesn't belong in school, and there wasn't really any kind of pushback to it or any kind of thing. And this movie doesn't really address it either. It's not really about it itself, which upset a lot of people in the reviews. The movie came out in 2024. It's more about Joe's life and all the things that happened in his life that led him to the point where he made the decision to pray on the football field and to continue praying on the football field even after he was told he would be fired if he did, and all those kinds of things. So it doesn't really have a high score. I was looking into it. A lot of people were expecting a courtroom drama where we were following along with the lawsuit, and like 90% of the movie is just like him starting as a kid and going through like really hard things. And it gets to this point where he is having a debate with somebody as an adult about the lawsuit and why he's pursuing it and all this kinds of stuff. And the guy quotes the Bible at him, and he was like, "Sorry, I'm not really a Bible person." And the guy goes, "So this really is just the principle of the thing. You're not just like trying to convert people?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing it for freedom of people, not because I need anybody else to be Christian or to pray with me or to do any of this stuff. It is just because people shouldn't lose their job for doing religious things. We have religious freedom in this country." There's a whole bunch of really awesome moments in this. There's one where he had a really bad home life, but he did have this one guy who was kind of a mentor. And he's talking to this guy while the lawsuit is going on, and while he's lost his job, and while all this kinds of stuff is going on. And he questions it. He's like, "Why me? Why am I supposed to do this? I'm not the most religious person. I'm not, I don't even read the Bible. I don't go to church. Like, why is this my job to do?" And the guy talks to him and he's like, "Think about all those little moments in your life that built you into the warrior you are today. Think about Peter. And sometimes God just needs a warrior, not a prophet." So it asks a lot of really good questions in my mind, whether you're religious or not, whether you're Christian or not. Should religion be allowed in public schools or public places? Should a lot of these things happen? Because of this lawsuit, I'm sure you can both attest to this kind of stuff that happened because of the lawsuit. There was no longer allowed to be praying on public property, no praying in school. Like at my school, they had to fence off the seminary building because it could no longer be allowed on school property. So the church had to buy the property and fence it off and say it's no longer part of it. There could no longer be prayers in courtrooms or anything. Like it was a very big fallout. And then in 2024, it was repealed. And that was another thing that I was aware of, even not a person on the news, that like, you're allowed to pray, you're allowed to have Christian symbols, you're allowed to have Jewish symbols, you're allowed to have all of these things. So it has a very big impact on our daily lives. This movie, like I said, it doesn't really focus on that. It is part of that movie, but like the big focus is maybe the suck isn't going to pay off today or tomorrow, but it is building you into something, and I believe that that something is good in the long run. And I really liked it for that.
That's really cool. That sounds great. Yeah, I know of the event. Like I've heard of the event also, but I haven't thought about that in years. Literally, probably since it happened.
Yeah, for me, it happened in 2015. I was a senior in high school. It was a very big thing for a couple of months, and then it kind of went away. But like this guy had been fighting 2015 to 2021, so like 6 years to get it to the Supreme Court.
That's wild.
So it's been a big thing over a long period of time. Like for me, my memory of it is just like you. It was like, hey, I kind of heard vaguely about it. It was a big thing for just a short time. I haven't thought about it since, but watched this movie and it reminded me of it.
Very cool. So what's your rating?
7.5. It's not the best movie. There is some weirdness to it. There is some not great stuff. There's like a portion where he's a soldier, and like the amount of effort that they give to be like he's a soldier isn't very high. But like the actors are recognizable. You'll recognize both him and the girl who plays his wife. It's very interesting. The majority of the movie is played out like an interview with the actual guy. It's not him, it's the actor. But he and his wife are sitting on a couch portraying it like they're talking about it. And all that kind of stuff. It's interesting. It's worth a watch.
Would you recommend it to me?
Yeah. I would recommend this to anybody.
Okay.
Literally anybody could watch this movie, and it is a thought-provoking movie. Like I said, it's not the best. It is not the best sports movie. It is not the best religious movie. I think it's made by the same people who made God's Not Dead, because at the end of it, instead of saying text everybody, God's not dead, it says text everybody, I'm an average Joe. I think it's made by the same people because they do the same thing, right? Like, I would say God's Not Dead is a better religious movie. It is a better theoretical movie to get you to think about religion. I don't think that this movie is about a religion. I think religion is the device used to talk about American freedom, and but the majority of the movie is really about like what stuff happened in this guy's past to lead him to making these decisions, and to be able to stand up in times of adversity. And I think that's very powerful and interesting to look at.
Cool. Very cool. All right, with that, let's go to my topic, Just My Luck. Have either of you seen this? Okay.
I think so.
So the director who directed this directed How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and that's part of the reason why I decided to watch it. I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. As far as like traditional boy meets girl, have a weird situation, girl gets mad at guy, she leaves, they come back together, traditional romance movie, it's probably my favorite. But along with that, he directed Miss Congeniality. I love that movie. He directed Mystic Pizza. I love that movie. And he directed Grumpy Old Men. I love that movie. All of these movies are, in my opinion, underrated from what I'm seeing on IMDb. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is a 6.5. I think it should be higher. Miss Congeniality is a 6.3. I think it should be higher. Mystic Pizza, 6.4. I think it should be higher. And Grumpy Old Men is a 7, and I think it should be quite a bit higher. It's a good movie, and it's very unique. This one is a very, very basic romance movie. There's no surprises here. If you like basic romance movies, you will probably enjoy this. It is really basic. But it has a 5.5 on IMDb, and I think it deserves better than that because it is just charming. Lindsay Lohan is charming in this movie. She is a girl who has unnatural great luck. And then she meets Chris Pine, and the luck rubs off on Chris Pine. So all of a sudden she's not lucky, and Chris Pine is super lucky, and he's been unlucky his entire life. And they have, every single time they meet, the luck switches back and forth, and they figure out that it switches when they meet and how to deal with that. And it's like a good little concept, but Chris Pine and Lindsay Lohan relationship is really good. They both do a good job. It's extremely charming, and it made me sad that Lindsay Lohan fell off so hard and got involved in so many different problems because she was just good. She was just a good actress. And this is towards the end of her, before she had all the stuff happen to her. And you can see, she's practiced. She knows what she's doing. She does a good job. If you like good old, cute, charming romance movies, I would recommend this one. It's not going to blow you away. It's not amazing, but it is charming. It is quite good. And I would give it a 7. It really deserves more than a 5.5. It's just better than that. It just is. Short review, but it's good.
Yeah, I actually...
Most romance rom-coms are hard on their critic reviews.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you talk about top rom-coms, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is going to be on like everybody's list.
But it still gives a 6.5.
Like horror. I know, but it's like horror. It's like critically, it's just never reviewed well because it's always kind of generic in a way.
But these aren't the critic reviews. These are the people reviews.
On IMDb's critic.
I thought it was user reviews. I'm pretty sure. No? Yeah, it's user reviews. User reviews 5.5. Six 169 reviews.
How to Lose a Guy, their audience score is an 80%.
Audience score is an 80% on IMDb.
On Rotten Tomatoes audience score.
Okay. But this isn't Rotten Tomatoes, it's IMDb that I'm looking at.
I know.
80% is more solid.
Just my luck.
Yeah.
Google has it as a 4.3 out of 5.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes has its audience score. Show me, not the critics.
Oh, where did you watch Just My Luck from?
I watched it on, yes.
This one is lower. It actually has its audience score at a 48%, and its tomato meter, so critically, it's got a 14%.
Wow. I just don't think it deserves to be that low. Is How to Lose a... All the other movies that I was talking about are better movies than this one. All of them are. But this is still just a good, enjoyable movie. It just is.
Yeah, my only objection to you, I don't remember the movie. I think I've seen it, but my only objection is the idea that Chris Pine is unlucky. Look at that
It's
guy's
supposed
jaw
to be.
and tell me he was ever unlucky. That guy was never unlucky.
It's supposed to be like a almost magically unlucky kind of a thing.
Look at his jawline and tell me. That is my objection. Is that
You could
they're
still be
presenting him as
attractive
unlucky.
and be unlucky, Josh. It
You
can't
said
happen.
never lucky. You said never lucky. He was born
Okay.
lucky.
I did say never lucky. He was born with some good genes. Good
Lucky in the
criminy.
genes.
Appreciate it. I wish they had picked a different actor because Chris Pine is not right for that role.
They should have at least made him chunky. Make him wear the chunky suit.
Chris Pratt. That's my point. It's like he's an attractive dude, but you'd buy he was unlucky. Chris Pine? Are you kidding me? That's an attractive man right there.
That's what
funny.
made the mystical unluckiness really
Makes sense. 'Cause
mystical.
otherwise, it would just be ridiculous movie. All right, with that, let's go to Josh's second topic.
Okay, so this one is all because of Conlon. He recommended this, The Murder of Rodger Ackroyd. I have been in a hard, I went on a binge where I was listening to a lot of music, and then I lost my Prime, or my Premium, so I didn't want to listen to ads. So I started listening to that book series. I'm listening to Chronicles, Completionist Chronicles, and I just wasn't getting into it, so I switched around and I was like, I guess podcasts. So I tried listening to an episode of Dungeons and Daddies, and I was like, this is awful. I
Which one
didn't
was
finish
that?
that episode. I don't know. I can look it up. 1 second. It's the one where Beth starts with just the most appalling poem you've ever heard. Episode 29.
Remember this
Season 3.
at all? I know that I've seen it because I'm caught up.
Okay, well, good for you. This is 10 episodes ago. I'm
Okay.
way behind. Anyway, it is the most disgusting, appalling poem that is very, it's just crude and disgusting.
Okay.
So I turned that off, and I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, Conlon recommended this book. He called it fun. He compared it to Clue. I love Clue. I think Clue's a fantastic movie. And I think all the spin-offs I've seen of Clue are even better. Like the Psych episode, I just love. So I was like, okay, I'll listen to this book.
Yeah.
And I think this book needs the Clue treatment.
What do you mean?
It's a very, I'm here, I'm a detective, I'm talking to this person at this time about these things, and then I go here and I talk to this person about these things and analyzing their stories and testing it, and I'm going to go out on the balcony and I'm going to see if I can, or I'm going to have them talk and I'm going to see if I can hear them from this point to see if this person's lying and all this kinds of stuff. Now, for somebody who has aphantasia, like myself, and I can't form mental images, it makes it extremely difficult to follow, because I'm like, wait, who are they talking to now? Where are they at? What is the point? And there's an
That would
entire
be hard.
dialogue between the detective and this doctor, and they're just going back and forth, and the doctor's like, isn't it obvious? And the detective is like, what's obvious? And he's like, well, obviously, it's obvious. And I'm like, if this was a movie and you had the right actors, I think this would play really well. And in this audiobook, I think the narrator is doing a phenomenal job, but I'm still just irritated with this situation. Like, shut up, doctor. What are you even talking about? You're just talking about how obvious it is, and you're not talking about what you're talking about. Like, maybe the detective does know, but you're not saying what the obvious thing is. Maybe he doesn't know, and he just hasn't thought about it the way you do. This is, to quote Lauren's, biggest irritation is a miscommunication. There's just... What is this even happening? And it goes on for 6 minutes at 2 times speed. So really, this is a 30-minute part of this book, I guess? And I'm like, oh, this is just rough. For me personally, this is something that I think as a movie I could really enjoy. But as an audiobook, I'm just not. I'm not getting the fun. I'm seeing what, I'm hearing
You
what
can
the fun
hear
situations could be.
that it
but,
could be good, but it's just not working for you.
It's not working for me. So it's
too
didn't
bad.
land. Would I rather watch Clue or listen to this? Clue 10 out of 10 times. There's no situation where I would pick this over Clue. None.
That's disappointing, honestly.
It's like I said, if there was a movie version of this, I honestly think it could be really good.
I think they
Because
should
a
make
lot
a
of the
movie of this.
humor is very Clue-like, like you just said. When I'm listening to it and I can't see those things happening or imagining those things happening,
It's really hard.
stuff that's happening, and it felt really flat for me. So it's got a lot of potential. They should make a movie out of it. They should give it the Clue treatment where they get a lot of these A-list actors to go and be silly and ridiculous and over the top and like.
Yep.
Don't play this role seriously. There's not a serious role in this thing. Everybody is dramatic. If I was directing it, I'd be like, hey, do this scene, do it more dramatic. Okay, that was pretty good. Do it more dramatic. That's all I would say. Do it more dramatic. And it would be a really good time. But as for an audiobook, it's not for me. So I'm rating the book a 4.5 out of 10 just because it doesn't really work for me.
Lauren, where you don't have that mental imagery problem, does this interest you at all? What do you think?
This is the one that you recommended.
Yeah, I highly
Right.
recommended this.
I'm probably gonna try it.
Okay, cool.
That doesn't yeah, since I don't have that issue, like I can see why Josh rated it so low. But whereas I don't have that issue, I won't take his his rating into
Totally fair. I would recommend it to other people. If you like Clue and you like listening to books, this is a great one. Like I said, the narrator does a great job. The writing
It's
is
just
really solid. It
hard
it
to
depends
follow.
on that physical presence that I can't see, so it makes it hard for me.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, with that, let's go to our shared topic. I'm actually going to give my thoughts first. I've never heard of this movie. I don't know. My wife was shocked I've never heard of this movie.
It was a big Utah movie.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I really like this movie. It's extremely charming. It's just a charming movie.
What's the movie?
Swiss Family Robinson. Why do I keep doing that, guys? It's like
everybody
we've
can read
done.
your notes.
Everybody can read my notes. Guys, I'm just going to add my notes to the comments below. So I thought this movie was extremely charming. I think that it works because it's so old, and it's actually not a movie that I would recommend remaking. It works. There's a lot of old charm to the movie that I think functions really well. I think there's some things that it works because it's old, like the tiger not eating those dogs. I'm like, it's a freaking tiger. That tiger would munch those dogs. That tiger would eat them up so fast. It's not even funny. That tiger would play with those dogs like they were mice. Good
These
luck,
are
dogs.
special island tigers, though.
Yeah, I guess so. And I was wondering this. Do you guys know this? The Pirates of the Caribbean reference where he's like, I roped up a couple of sea turtles. Is that a reference to this movie?
I don't know.
You don't think so? I really want to know if it's actual reference because that would be awesome.
But I don't think so.
Straight up, I would love that. There's a lot of charm in this movie. I think that a lot of women should watch this movie. Because of one thing. I used to work at Lowe's, and I would see women come into the store that were even just somewhat attractive. And the amount different that they were treated was insane. And I would watch it over and over and over again. All of a sudden, like, a somewhat attractive woman would come in, and then every single guy that didn't give two shits about any other customer would be helping them. They'd be like, yeah, I will climb this ladder. I will do whatever I can for you. And this is shown so well in this movie, where the brothers think that it's a scrawny boy, and they're like, I don't give a shit about you. You better hike through that forest. What are you doing? Why are you so slow? You suck. And then the hat comes off, and they're like, the hat came off. You're a girl? What? Crazy. And then all of a sudden they're like, let me help you down this hill. There's a rock. It's a little rock, but I don't want you to trip. Are you okay? And it's just it is cheesy in the best way. I like the pirate fights. I like the way that they did the booby traps. It's It's just highly enjoyable. It is a highly enjoyable movie. It's not one that I think I'm gonna watch over and over again, but I had a really good time with it the one time I watched it. 7.5. Josh, what did you think?
Okay, so I picked the topics this week to be shared because I wanted more positive things in my life. And we've had some weeks of not positive content as shared topics. So normally we go around, we're like, hey, what do you want to talk about? What are you planning on watching? Whatever. This one I was like, this is what I want to do. And gratefully, both of these people, Lauren and Conlon, were like, yeah, that's fine. Which is good, because I got to watch a Goofy movie. I got to watch Woman in Gold again. And I got to watch this again. And I remember... Well, I remembered nothing about this movie. Other than there was a family on an island. I don't remember how they got stuck there. I didn't remember pirates or tigers or sea turtles or how many of them there were. I didn't know about the brothers thing. I didn't remember the girl dialogue. I didn't remember somebody's grandpa. I didn't remember it ending with them being like, yeah, we're just gonna stay on the island. Like, nothing. I was like, it's a family movie. I last watched it probably when I was like 8 or 9. We'll throw it on there. And I really enjoyed it this time. I agree with Conlon. There are very few movies I would even want to be remade. This is definitely not one of them. It's completely charming. There are things I really like. There are some things that I don't necessarily love. My only real criticism of it is the girl and how blatantly manipulative she is. And so to me, I'm like, that's not a girl worth fighting over. But they continue to do it even when it's blatant, in front of your face manipulation. That's my only real criticism of it, is like, I see these guys who are pretty good or great guys fighting over this trash girl. But other than that, it's really good. I love the coming together unity. I love that the wife is like, I don't even want to see the treehouse. It has no railings. Come get me when there's railings. And then they come back and it's just like the most magnificent tree houses you've ever seen in your entire life. And it's like, okay. They know how to make stuff, that's for sure. Holy crap. I love the little boy who's just like gets the younger brother treatment throughout the entire thing, but his creativity is what takes out the tiger in the end. I love how many things come full circle in it. It's not a high on my rewatch list, but it's like, if I had kids or nieces and nephews or something like that, I'd absolutely show them this movie. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 for that reason, because it's like, it would be high on my list to show to the younger generation.
All right, Lauren.
I love this show. I remember watching it a lot as a kid with my mom, and like I was in love with the treehouse. I'm like that's goals there. And like I remember rewatching this. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was stranded on an island.
Her goals haven't changed since, just so everybody knows.
It's still my goal to get stranded on an island and live in a treehouse.
That treehouse. That's spectacular of a treehouse, yeah.
I need to find that set. That's what I need to do. It's like in the very beginning when they're like swimming in the waterfalls and stuff, and they're just like having the time of their lives, and they're like the two the two older boys are like, yeah, we're gonna try to swing across, and the dad's like, I can do that, and like totally like lands in the water, and I'm like, that's just like good wholesome like. It was a really long scene, but I didn't mind it because it was just like a family having fun.
It felt
And
very natural.
yeah, and it was like that's like what a lot of the movie to me felt like was just like this family is was in like this horrible situation, but then they ended up making the best out of it. And I love how like the little boy tricked the dogs to getting on the raft the first time to like bring them back, and then they ended up getting all of the animals on the ship over. And um, I love like the ingenuity of like what they're doing because when I tell people who haven't seen Swiss Family Robinson, I jokingly tell them that it is Home Alone with pirates at the end. And I love how like the little boy is like, we need pits with tigers in them. You're like, and the other ones like brush him off, and the dad's like, actually no, pits are gonna be good. And he's like, goes off to the side to his other brother, and he's like, but the tigers are like the pivotal part of these pits. Like we need those tigers. Stop it. It's yeah, it's wholesome. There was like a few cringy moments that I had in the movie, and it was just when they were like talking about like when we get there, do you think there will be any women our age? And they're like, oh, by the time we get there, we don't care how old that they are. And I was like, might want to rephrase that. um, and then they like laughed for like a really long time afterwards. And I was like, but other than that, like it's a wholesome movie. Uh, and yeah, I want their treehouse. So,
Treehouse is awesome.
well, it's so funny because like when he's showing her, when the dad's showing the mom like their new room, and she like starts crying because she's like, I don't deserve this because it's too good and stuff. Is like, shut up, I'll take it. It's like I deserve that. Yeah, so I'd give it a 8 out of 10. Um, there's just
My
oh sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say my cringiest part. There were a couple, but when he fights the anaconda, I was like, "You are dead. You are so dead. You are so dead." But I found out that that fight inspired the garbage masher scene in A New Hope, which is pretty cool.
I like to tack that on. Actually, this movie is for how old it is. It's very well done. Um,
Yeah,
like it, it looks like a real snake. I wonder. I probably was. I don't
probably
know,
was.
but I don't know if they had the tag of no animals harmed in the making of this film. But like, it feels like yeah, it was very well done. The sets were really great. And then the colorization, because I don't know, like the color was really vibrant and like pleasing. I don't know how to like say that. But yeah, I would say an 8 out of 10 because just there's like some little cringe moments for me. And also I don't have the treehouse. That's not really their
You're
problem,
giving it
but
a lower score because you don't have it.
I'm kidding.
You're watching a Fast and the
Fair.
Furious movie,
It
and you're
makes
like, "I want that car. I don't have that car." No.
it
You
reminds
watch a
me that
romance movie, and you're like, "I want that boyfriend." You don't.
it reminds me that I'm behind on my goals.
That's why How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is rated a 6.5. People are like, "I don't have a Matthew McConaughey." No, this is a 4. What are you talking about?
It just reminds me how much I want one. It makes me sad.
Maybe someday you'll have it. That would be
One
cool.
day.
It was a good movie. I'm glad that we watched it. It's an old movie worth watching. With that, I think that is our episode, guys. We appreciate you watching. Seriously, we're super grateful for you. I hope that you keep going forward, and if there's a dream that you want to chase, go and do it. Make it happen. Appreciate you guys. See ya. Bye.